Well, Gray, thank you for having me, and appreciate everybody's flexibility to shift the schedule around to bring some important updates to the community here this morning. So, as you and I have both seen on the news, there's an epic snowstorm approaching, and not just here for the local area, but really all up and down the Mid-Atlantic region entirely. So, the weather forecasts, I'm sure as you've seen, are calling for between 10 and 20 inches of snowfall. Which is obviously quite significant, given the fact that the night before last we had an inch of snow, and the Northern Virginia metropolitan area here was struggling with that.
I was out in it.
Yeah, it was quite a sight to see, with cars scattered all over the roadways, et cetera. But as I had communicated to residents on earlier in the week, on the 20th, I sent out a letter to the community to just advise people to say, we see the same weather forecasts. And our team was in the works at that time, putting plans together, and we've got those plans solidly in place to continue to support the community. So a couple of things that I wanted you and other residents to know is, normal operations will continue. We're just modifying some of those operations. So as the letter had indicated, there will be some updates via the scroll that will provide some insight into some of those operational changes, as well as the hours of operation and some details along those lines. For example, on the dining side, as you know, with 10 to 20 inches of snow, getting high school students out of their homes and with parents willing is a pretty difficult effort.
Not
and
easy,
so
yeah.
considering that, the service style will shift to more of a buffet style service. And you and other residents that have been here for the last couple of years are familiar with that. That's typical during emergency operations as such. So there are also different hours of operations that will be available during that time frame. So I'd encourage residents to tune in to Channel 6 to be able to see all of those changes. Specifically, the Potomac Cafe will operate under normal hours of operation today. And then Saturday, we're going to do breakfast from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m., lunch from 11 a.m. to 2:15 p.m., and then dinner from 3:30 p.m. to 6 p.m. as well. Friday and Saturday, the 22nd and 23rd, Woodland Skies, Jefferson, and the Fireside will also have some modified operations as well. So Woodland Skies, there will be no reservations for this period. We will not do lunch service as typical on Friday, and buffet service will be available in those hours you can see are from 3 to 6 p.m. The idea with those modified hours are to be able, those staff members that are coming in, that we can get them back on the roads before the ice and the heavier snowfall accumulations. So as far as pre-order and carryouts, we're going to do walk-ups only during this time frame, and the reason for that is that we're modifying the store hours of operation, so people can just walk up, and with a buffet style service, it lends itself to that, to easily pull some carryout containers together and
Sure.
get folks a good balanced meal. The bistro will be open from 11:30 to 2:30 today, but then on Saturday will be closed throughout the portion of the day as well. And lastly, as it relates to the stores will have one store in operation, and that will be Central at Town Center, and that will be open the typical hours of 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. as it typically is. So lots of staff will also be here on campus. So you may notice several backpacks or duffel bags with staff members, and to include myself, I'll be here, and I think we have about 75 staff members that are staying on campus.
Oh, is that right?
And it just warms my heart to know that people really care genuinely about continuous service for our residents, and wanting to make sure that we keep, while the rest of the metropolitan area is scurrying to shut down, we're scurrying to remain open, which I hope is a really heartwarming signal to the residents we serve.
I'm surprised we have enough rooms for 75 staff to stay.
Well, keep in mind, we're bunking people pretty substantially. So some of our vacant apartment homes, for example, that are in the midst of the reoccupancy process. They're safe enough at least to be able to have staff hunker down on air mattresses, et cetera. People will be sleeping in office spaces. What you will not see, you should not see, are people sleeping on couches and just kind of, scattered throughout the community. So they should be tucked back behind kind of closed door areas. But so lots doing, and of course, everybody is interested in, how are we managing with plowing and snow removal efforts. So efforts will continue throughout the nights in all of those areas. As the letter had indicated, our primary effort is to plow from the entry of the community into each clubhouse building first. And the reason for that is for supply deliveries as well as for emergency services in the event that those are needed.
Well, Ben, I'm sure that others as well as I appreciate the fact that you all are willing to do this, because it makes our lives simpler, the fact that we really don't have to make great preparations for the snow, that we can live fairly normally
Sure.
During this particular period, and I appreciate it.
Well, thank you very much, and yeah, we hope that's the case, because people are kissing their loved ones goodbye this morning and saying I'll see you in a couple of days, yeah. which I think just shows you the dedication of our community to be together during a time.
Yeah, we
like
lived
this.
through a significant snowstorm, 09 and 10.
That's right.
And we had about 26 inches, I think it was.
That's right.
So we also lived, survived, didn't have too much discomfort.
Indeed. One other plea that I would ask is for residents that are parking their vehicles to make sure that you're not parking in the employee garage. I noticed this morning as I parked over there that there were some resident vehicles that were there. I believe we have 4 residents that have reserved parking spaces there. That's absolutely fine. But for other residents that are trying to spare the car from the dump of snow, I would ask that people not do that.
Sure.
And the reason being is my staff that are here to try to support the campus have nowhere else to park.
Yeah.
So
it wouldn't be wise to park outside the gates. It would not be wise to park outside the gates.
That's correct, and part of it is I think you end up getting cars blocked in,
That's right.
Plowed into the spaces, but as well you never know with the roadways. I would hesitate to think of somebody's car getting run into, smashed into for a car that's skidding along the roadway. But so nonetheless, we really want if residents have parked there already, complete amnesty right now to go ahead and move those vehicles back to to the reserved or unreserved spots that they belong in resident parking areas only, please. Coffee session for this afternoon, given all of the changes of operations and details that go along with that. We will continue to host that this afternoon.
Oh, good.
And so the normal schedule will continue with that. So we look forward to residents coming if interested. And we will, rather than cover the resident satisfaction topic that was queued up for today, we're going to focus those efforts on snow operations and snow planning so that we make sure that we're all in sync with one another going into the weekend of what to expect. And we'll bring some additional information about some other things that are upcoming that are important events as well, but coffee will take place as scheduled today.
Good.
But it will be on the topic of snow operations. So that's kind of the quick down and dirty highlight. You'll see lots of staff members around, and whether it's engineering staff or housekeeping staff or nurses or nursing assistants, whether it's executives or folks that are plowing and clearing the roadways. The Greenspring team is here to support you and other residents, and it's our pleasure. This is our commitment that we make to you for worry-free living, and I hope this really meets up to that standard.
Well, thank you very much, Ben, for coming on at this late hour. I mean, it was very impromptu. So.
It was indeed, and thank you to Mr. Weiss for allowing us to jump in, but I know the community is also interested to see his profile.
Well, thank you very much, and I guess we'll have a little roll-in